So, to start my speech, I'm going to drop some statistics on you guys. So, the Jordan 1 Retro OG Chicago's were selling for roughly $1,500, depending on your shoe size now. So, in 2017, Jordan and Off-White, and the founder of Off-White is Virgil Abloh. So, they collaborated to make the Off-White Jordan 1 Retro OG Chicago's. So, what they did was they put the word shoelaces on the shoelaces, they put air on the midsoles, and they're selling for $3,500 right now. And that's all they did, in my opinion. So, how this topic should relate to you guys is either you have Jordans or you wanted Jordans at one point in your life. And the three main topics I will be discussing are the history of Jordan, the cultural impact of Jordan, and my favorite Jordans. So my first topic is the history of Jordan. So Air Jordan is a brand of basketball shoes, athletic, casual, and style clothing. It was created for former NBA player Michael Jordan, and the Air Jordans were exclusively produced for him in 1984, but later released to the public in 1984. And by 2012, Jordan was bringing in 58% of all bought basketball shoes in the United States. So we just went over the history of Air Jordan. Now we're moving on to the cultural impact of Air Jordan. So, like previous stated, Air Jordan comprised of 58% of all basketball shoes bought in the United States in 2012. And in that moment, when a world divided by languages and culture, but increasingly globalized in trade, really woke up to sports' ability to unify. And Jordans are a culture within themselves, as well as a subculture within sports and commerce. So, as kids, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like if I saw somebody on the court wearing Jordans, that person would be my hero. I mean, I watched Jordan and his shoes were super cool. He was really good, and I just thought, if you have shoes like those, you're definitely somebody who wants to look up to. And at the time, there was names like Larry Bird and Clyde Frazier, who were faces of brands like Converse and Puma. But when Jordan took to the air, he was defined. And Jordans didn't just stand out on the court, but were iconic off the court, with shoes like the 4s like I'm wearing now. They have a different style to them. They have like a fashion statement. They're considered one of the luxurious shoes that Jordan has to offer. And the shoes were just so appealing to your eye because you got the feeling of luxury, like I said, and wealth. And the shoe is made to resemble high fashion dress styles with unique materials, including its woven caviar and handmade premium leather from Italy. It just goes to show that Jordan was ahead of its time, and most of the materials they used at that time are still underrated to this day. And Jordan knew the world was evolving and looking for the next best thing, and year after year, he would make designs that would catch consumers' eyes due to each shoes having special meaning or describing an event in Michael Jordan's career that would be incorporated in the style. And Jay's impacted the youth because we thought if we had Jordans, we could be just like Jordan. So we just went over the cultural impact of Jordans, and now we're moving on to my personal favorite Jordans. So the first shoe I will be talking about is the Jordan 1s. They were released in 1985, and it was the first Jordans to be worn in the NBA with multiple colors. And when the Jordans were first released, they were banned because they thought that the Jordans were giving him an extra boost, or they were making him play better, and it was just an unfair advantage on the court. So Nike, what they did was they took that and they advertised it, and they said, hey, if you buy these shoes, you're gonna play way differently, you're gonna perform way better than anybody else. And so these shoes are one of my favorites due to them being one of my first J's I've ever bought. And so, moving on to my second shoe, I will be talking about the Air Jordan 4s, and they were released in 1985. And an unknown crazy feature about these shoes is that they can be laced in 18 different patterns. I had no idea of that until I Googled it. It's insane. And the history of the shoe is when Michael Jordan made the shot. So, a series game winner in the 1989 NBA first round against the Cleveland Cavaliers. And as soon as that was over, they started making colorways with the Cleveland Cavaliers like colors. So it was yellow, maroon, and so the overall personality of the 4s was saying, get back to work. And these shoes were considered one of the Air Jordan's luxury shoes. And I really like these shoes because out of all 34 of the shoes Jordan has made, they don't resemble to any others. And they have just a different style that can be worn with anything. I mean, I'll wear them with jeans, I'll wear them with shorts, I'll wear them with dress clothes, and I still think they look good. So, we went over the history of the Jordans, which we talked about how they're basketball shoes, they're casual, and then we went over the cultural impact, where we talked about how they're 58% of all bought basketball shoes in the United States in 2012. Then we went over my favorite Jordans. We went over the Jordan 1s and the Jordan 4s. And after listening to my speech, you should be able to describe the history behind the Air Jordans. Thank you.